The Australian Security Academy acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises the continuing connection to lands, waters and communities. We pay our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures and to elders past and present. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples should be aware that this series of live streams contains images or names of people who have passed away.
Good afternoon, investigators. Welcome along Friday afternoon to episode 341, exciting episode of 341 of Spy Curious, the Australian private, corporate and government investigator weekly news. How are you, Casey?
I'm very good. Thanks, Mike. How are you?
Very well, thank you. G'day, Nina. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for saying g'day. G'day, hey along. Thanks for saying g'day, mate. Great to see you. Really pleased. Hope everything's beautiful down in lovely Canberra. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for checking in. Really helps Casey and I to know we've got an active audience watching to see what we're coming to you about this week. Each week we come together to show you job opportunities, information and news that's happening in investigations all around Australia for private, corporate and government investigators. In New South Wales, people, if you are an Australian Security Academy graduate student and you are a licensed investigator, email me your resume. I have had 5 legitimate, pay on time, overloaded with work investigation agencies contact me in the last 7 days asking me to send them students. They want Australian Security Academy graduates because they know that you can take statements. Hey, Judith, g'day. Great to see you in New South Wales. How you going? Hi, Jessica. They want... Hey, Sean, g'day, mate. How's things going in Tenderland down in beautiful Victoria? Great to see you. So they want Australian Security Academy students because they've had much success with Australian Security Academy students working for their organisations. And in fact, all those employers are graduate Australian Security Academy students too. So please, if you're in New South Wales, Victoria or Queensland and you're looking for investigation work and you're an Australian Security Academy student, let me know and I'll pass your details on to them. And great to see Sean Delaney saying hello, because Sean has participated in the past in our investigations uni community of practice, talking to our students about tenders, and they were great presentations. And you can see those replays in your email on demand if you're Australian Security Academy student and you are watching Investigations Uni each week. When you receive that email, click on any links and they replay on demand. One of the things that kept coming up this week with our Certificate for in Government Investigation students is when they were looking at their recognition of prior learning, many of them were supplying this document to assist in the understanding of what they do in their workplace. Pay attention to it, people. If you're studying Certificate for in Government Investigation, Diploma of Government Investigation or Advanced Diploma of Government Investigation, Workplace Inspection or Fraud Control, this document is really helpful and informative in getting you a good understanding of the type of work you're going into. So memorize it, commit it to memory, Google it. It's free, Cracking the Code. There it is for the Australian Public Service, a really interesting read and just something that sort of came up this week as part of my duties as an assessor. G'day, Chris. Great to see you, mate. I will answer your question later today. I'd apologise for the delay. I'm sure that coffee's going down well in beautiful Adelaide. If you Missed it over on Investigations Uni today. Our subject was his Investigations Uni, and our subject was the Criminal Code 1995 and its application to investigators who enforce regulatory compliance. And Deshan from up in Darwin, where he had to go to a place to get better reception because of the cyclone activity up there today, he presented on the Criminal Code Act 1995 and its application to government investigators. I know you need coffee, Chris. Go and get stuck into it. Every Friday. And Deshan's presentation was very interesting. And if you're an Australian Security Academy student, you'd like the slides that you're looking at there from this presentation, get in touch with me by email. And Deshan's quite cordially and very nicely allowed us to share those slides on his presentation. What was it about? It was about disclosing confidential information as a public servant. And as you've seen, Pat Flynn, myself, Casey, and Andrew Baldock, all saying throughout this program,
Speaking of the devil.
There's Andrew Baldock, that the number one reason public servants lose their job in Australia is accessing databases illegally. They're doing it for a friend to find someone else, or, you know, they want to know where Chris Hemsworth lives or whatever. And that's what they do. And that presentation you saw on Investigations Uni was about the consequences of that, the penalty of 2 years in prison for it, whether that disclosure was willful misconduct or a misunderstanding, and what happens in either case. So very interesting, very compact, but hard-hitting. It didn't need an hour of labouring over it. G'day, David. Great to see you, mate. Thanks for saying g'day. Didn't need an hour of labouring over it to hit the point. So if you can watch the replay on Investigations Uni or get in touch with me and I'll send you the slides. Another thing that came up this week was with a Queensland Office of Fair Trading and regulatory compliance up there. There's been a few issues with confusion on Fair Trading's website in relation to private investigators and the qualification required and the units or modules that they're asking you and directing you to get. And in their directions, they keep switching between units and modules as a guide to what you've got to do. Now, they don't name any modules, but they name all the units. What is the difference between a module and a unit? If you were studying Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment, you already know the answer to that. I don't have to tell you. But when you see it, this is what it means. A unit of competency is what's on your statement of results for your nationally recognised qualification. That is a unit. When you study a nationally recognised qualification, you study units. A module appears on an accredited course. An accredited course is still a nationally recognised qualification because it's accredited, but the competencies that make it up are called modules, not units, and that's the difference between it. Now, that accredited course could be in cybersecurity. There wasn't one 15 years ago in Australia. They had to come up with one because no workplace had one. There was a sudden urgent need for it every minute of every second of every day now. But back then, it was a new thing. I don't know whether they've changed it to nationally recognised and units now in cybersecurity. I haven't got time to look that up, but that's just an example. So if you see the word modules, it's an accredited course. If you see the words units, it's a nationally recognised qualification. And right now, the Office of Fair Trading are addressing that confusing issue on their website and sorting it out. So when you go there to find out what you've got to study to be a licensed private investigator, it will be clear, only mention units of competency, and there'll be no vagueness or ambiguity. So that's been happening. Another thing that came up with some of our regulatory compliance officers this week, they were looking at how many licenses it takes to open a cafe. Now, if you're a regulatory compliance officer, you're really into that sort of thing. If you're just you, me, and Casey, we don't care. But to them, it's really important. And you can look it up before you start a food business in New South Wales. Whoops, sorry.
The answer was
3. or down at the city of Stoddington in Victoria before you start a business down there. Whoops, get rid of that. 145 licenses, up to 145 licenses are required just to open that cafe. Now, I haven't got the extensive list, but you're looking at liquor licensing. You're looking at responsible service of alcohol. If there's gaming going on in the cafe, there might be gaming issues. There's going to be hygiene and health and local government issues. There's going to be workplace health and safety things. If it's construction or a refit, there's going to be licenses required for that. 145. What's the advantage of being a private investigator in comparison to opening a cafe? Hey, only one license required. So that's really good news for licensed private investigators. You do not need anything else. So it's much easier to become a licensed private investigator than it is to open up your own very highly competitive cafe, right? Which may be very rewarding, I don't know, but I've always taken the path of least resistance. What have you got for us today, Casey?
I have, sorry, I'm just going to adjust my computer. I'm in a makeshift office today. And hi, Sean. Thanks for saying hi. I have something for you guys that I thought might be interesting as investigators. As we know, time and date stamps are really important. And when you're doing digital investigations, it is no different. So you need to often find out times and dates, and you're relying on EXIF data for photographs and metadata for websites. And sometimes when you're checking the metadata of a website, it might not have a date published in the metadata. So somehow the person that's created the website or the web page might have gotten rid of that. That could be on purpose. That could just be by accident. It could be just trying to reduce the noise in the back end with different plugins that people can get to make sure that their website is quick. But it's not all the time that it's there. Sometimes you'll get like a last modified date of a website, but not a date published. And when you are looking at websites, if you are required to go, okay, well, when was this website published, or when about was this website published? Usually you would kind of check the metadata, but if it's not there, what do you do? And a lot of people say, well, you can go to the Wayback Machine. And I've got some friends of mine who started up Cybernetic Shield, and I threw in their website, and it said that their website was first indexed on January 4, 2024. And because I was part of this project, I know that this website has been up a little bit longer. So I wanted to find another way as to how on earth I would possibly find where, like, when the website was put up. Because you can go to Whois or Whooxy and look at the dates of when they purchased the domain, but that does not mean that there was a website up. You can go and purchase a domain. I own a bunch of domains and there are no websites attached to them. So even domains that I own that I use purely for email, and there's still no website attached to them. So if you're looking at a website and you would like to know when it was started up, a really great way to tell is by there's a website called crt.sh, and basically it lets you look at when they first started issuing the certificates, the SSL certificates that all websites have. And you can see here that on the 6th of the 11th, 2023, is when the first certificate was issued, which means that they obviously had a website then, which is really super handy. That's getting closer to the correct date as to when the website was started up. So those issuing of certificates is fantastic. And you can click into the certificates to see who issued the certificate, what kind of encryption that they use, and it gives you a whole bunch of information, including the very first date it was seen. Also, I threw in our website as well to have a look at what certificates were issued for us, Australian Security Academy. And you can see that we recently had, because we've just relaunched our website, we've done it nice. We've updated it to bring it into 2025, well, into 2026 and onwards, hopefully. And we've made it all nice and pretty and easy to use. But to do that, we had a staging website, which was dev.australiansecurityacademy.edu.au, where we built it first before we launched the actual website. So, and it's actually picked that up because we used the same certificate to make sure that everything was okay. And so I just found that that was a really interesting little bit of information, because then if you put the Australian Security Academy into the Wayback Machine, you will see that the website has changed. That's just another little bit of key information that you can get from looking at crt.sh. So if you go to crt.sh and you make sure you keep the /, the question mark, Q, and then equals, and put in the website that you're looking to look up, then it'll bring up all of the certificates for you. So that helps you get the approximate time of when a website was launched. So I hope that helps you, because I know it's helped me a lot recently.
What a great tip. That's fantastic. Wish I knew that 10 years ago. That is absolutely brilliant. And if it went too fast for you, all you have to do is jump on the Australian Security Academy Facebook page or YouTube channel, and you can replay on demand exactly what Casey just talked you through with the QRT /equals.
Not quite, but crt.sh. So, and then your standard query, like the follow, which is, yeah, I just found it really handy. And if you can put in all different kinds of websites, and you can see all the difference. Often you can see the different subdomains that use the same security certificate. So it just really helps with your digital investigations, even apart from just looking at when the website was first created. So, yeah.
Okay, so without giving any information away, one of the questions we got asked in Investigations Uni today, right, we don't name names, but do federal government departments use OSINT, please, Casey?
Absolutely, they do.
Right.
I'm one of the main trainers of those people. So, yes.
Okay, so yeah, look, fair enough too. As taxpayers, we want to ensure that the people who are ripping off the system through fraud, that sort of thing, they are located, they are identified, and great. I think that's absolutely brilliant. So that's part of the game, and you shouldn't have to fight fraud with one hand tied behind your back. And if people are going to give up their information freely on social networking or on the internet, that's a risk they run. So, yep. Thanks for answering that question, Casey, without notice.
Well, they use it extensively, and I mention this a lot in all of the talks that I do, is that the recent intelligence review that was unclassified at the beginning of the year by the Albanese government suggested that the Australian government should have a whole department dedicated to open source intelligence to make sure that they're on the front foot. Because if you're trying to look at something, an issue, say, or an event that is happening on the ground now, and you're waiting for information, if you use OSINT, you don't have to wait for that information. You can go looking for it right now, and you can see events as they unfold using open source intelligence. So it's a really powerful tool.
You just answered the question without reading it, Casey.
What kind of investigations would you use the website check? One of the biggest things that I do, like non-competes. So you've got a business owner that sold their business and they're suspected of starting up a new business. So non-competes is a really big one. And fraudulent, so scammers who set up fraudulent websites. Yeah, there's many use case scenarios there. So whether they're selling Bitcoin or dating and romance scam websites, like dating sites that pop up a lot. Even you've got your marketplace scam websites that pop up as well. They're really great indicators because they will say, oh, we've been established in this year. But if you check those certificates and it was issued, like the very first certificate was issued 2 months ago, you know that it's a new website. And like they may have registered the domain years ago, but it's not the domain that you care about. It's like, when did they launch the website? And they will strip the metadata to stop you from finding that. So yeah, having a look at those certificates, which they will have there because they're trying to look legitimate. Yeah, checking that will really help you. So, and of course, non-competes.
Non-competitive agreement doesn't just happen with hairdressers in the suburbs. If you could imagine big organisations with intellectual property that's worth billions, a person leaves under disgruntled circumstances, they take that IP with them, go and work for a competitor, and suddenly there's a web page up and, you know, we've got solutions to this, this and this, and it was all the organisation that that person just left, and they signed on leaving an agreement that they would not take any IP, they would not go and work for anybody else. And you know who the worst offenders are? Get this? The worst offenders are lawyers. They are the worst offenders, right? Everybody thinks, oh, this only happens to hairdressers when someone buys a hairdressing salon, you know, in Footscray, and they, you know, they won't go and, you know, the person that sold it won't go and open up another business down the road 200 metres away and take all the customers back. No, this goes to, you know, big corporations, big money. Wherever you see, like big in hospitality, you know, for example, the oil industry and hospitality is worth an absolute fortune. And salespeople will leave one company and they'll take that customer list and then they'll go and approach the other all those customers with the new company's offer and make it $1 cheaper. In hospitality, if, you know, you're saving $500 a week, the people that they'll run with that savings. So that's a non-competitive situation that's damaging to the organisation the person just left and took that customer list with them. So they're very big
space as well, and beauty. So I've done a lot of non-compete where beauty brands have popped up. So two founders will start a beauty brand together. One will sell out and say, like, I've had enough, can't work with you. And usually it's not the nicest separation. It's kind of like a divorce. And all of a sudden this new beauty brand would pop up with similar ingredients, similar products. And it would be my job to have a look at that website to see, is it the person that just sold out and signed the non-competitive agreement? They're not allowed to start up a beauty brand for 3 or 5 years, depending on the amount of money and the IP and patents involved. So, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, and once Casey's discovered all that, she'll hand that over to the organisation that's aggrieved. The organisation that's aggrieved will then conduct surveillance on the person that signed that agreement to see what they're up to. That just all adds up. And basically they will have legal redress through that non-competitive agreement that the person's ignored because they're not smart, they're not sophisticated, or they're just greedy, and they will have redress to recover their loss. No more than their loss, they'll only recover their loss, but they've got redress to do it through the courts and to stop that other organisation. And this is where law firms, they hate each other. They're all colleagues, you know, this, that and the other, and my learned friend on the other side, and it's all very nice. But when someone leaves a law firm, and you saw this with DLA Piper, the law firm, when they snatched PricewaterhouseCoopers tax advisors over to their side, and then, you know, that didn't work out, and then the person left DLA Piper, and it just goes on and on. It's going through the courts and defamation, all sorts of things. They're all lawyers doing it to each other. So quite interesting when you see that sort of thing. People, that's it. Casey and I have got to run. We've got a meeting to have and busy stuff to get on with. Thank you for your feedback and comments throughout the program. Great questions. And we'll look forward to seeing you again next week in episode 342 of Spy Curious. So certainly, I'm sure Casey will be back next week. School holidays coming up, Casey.
Yeah, it is.
That'll slow you down.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
And you can see all about non-competitive agreement investigations, factual and surveillance in Investigations Uni, replayable on demand at any time. If you don't have access to that and you're an Australian Security Academy student, email me and I'll send it.